budget, money. Uh, where do you go with your cash, right? How do you pay your bills? How do you move forward as a person? How do you achieve your goals? It's easy to start just throwing money in the bank and say, this is where it's going to go. This is what I'm going to do with it. I'm just going to have it. And just like Scrooge McDuck type of scenario. The best thing I could say is, if you're going to save your money, that's good. You always want to do that, because I like to call that a no shit fund. Shit happens, you know. I mean, people, the car breaks down, or you know, the fucking window breaks, or who knows? I mean, all kinds of things can come up in your life, and you're like, well, fuck, I gotta go grab a credit card. I gotta go grab a loan from the, you know, the dollar skeezy loan places. Don't do that. Oh my God, it's so bad. Really, you know, where do you go, right? So the oh shit fund becomes really important in your life, because if you're not putting away $50 a week, $100 a week, you're fucked. You are literally fucked, because you have to go begging, borrowing, extra jobbing, selling your shit to get that money back. So what do? Well, the oh shit fund. That's step number one. Step number two, stay away from credit. Stay away from loans. Stay away from people that are going to give you money, because every type of loan has some kind of strings attached to it. You can't get away from that. Borrowing money from family is always going to be a big, oh my God, I owe you. I'm obligated to you. I have to pay this back, but I also have to pay it back with respect. I have to pay it back with just all levels of crap. And, you know, like, they may show up at your house with shovels to move your yard over an inch on a Saturday morning at 7 a.m. Or they may expect you to drop whatever the fuck you're doing and show up at their house and help them out with something. So, you know, the banks don't do that, but your family does. You want to be careful with that. Loans, debt, owing people. It's better to owe yourself. Way better. My parents always told me, save your money, save it. And I never understood that, why you have to do that, until I got older and I had to borrow money from people because I was flat ass fucking broke. So really, that's step number one. It's a hard lesson, because you have to go through that kind of shit a couple times to figure out, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Step two, budget. Track what you spend. Excel, Google Docs, I mean, it's out there. I can write it on a piece of paper, you know, just, this is what I have coming in. This is what I'm spending. This is what I have left over. If the leftover is less than what you have coming in, spend less. It's basic math, you know, plus minus. It's not that hard. Step three, have a goal. Always have a goal with your money. I want to be out of debt. I want to buy a car. I want to buy a house. I want to take a trip. Whatever, you know, just whatever you want to do with your life, having that goal really helps cement that savings, really helps cement that budget, really helps you track where your money's going, really helps you figure out why I should do this. I can definitely put up examples of an easy budget, and it can get as complex as like 25 bills that you owe and debts that you owe. And what you do, and this is what worked for me, and again, this is not for everybody, but snowball. Okay, so what you do is you start with the smallest bill, you pay that off, and then the money that you were paying on that bill, you put towards your next bill. And for every other bill that you have up there, you're paying just minimum payments on those bills, while you're snowballing the payment from this one to this one to this one to this one, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And it gets so much easier to do that. It's not that hard. It just takes discipline. It takes, when you put that budget into place, you're really saying, what can I pay for? What can I spend? What can I afford? And be realistic. People make this big, cavalier approach to budgets and say, well, I'm not going to have any entertainment for myself for the month. And that's bullshit, because nobody just goes through the whole month and says, I'm going to sit here and read a book that I got from the library for free in this day and age. It doesn't happen. So you have to be really careful with how you do that. And you have to be honest. You have to be honest with how you're spending your money. Even if I had a job at McDonald's and I was living in a one-bedroom place, I still would find some way to spend 10, 15, 20 bucks on a cheeseburger, or rent a movie, or buy a beer, or go out, someplace, take a trip to a park or something. Just something to keep your life from being completely miserable, I guess. That's the best way to say it. And if you plan that out, and if you think about that in advance, you're planning for those gimme moments. I need that time. I need this money. I need this candy bar. I need this soda. I need this movie. I need some kind of distraction from the daily grind of working 40 hours or 60 hours or 80 hours or whatever you're doing. You've got to give yourself that downtime or you will go fucking insane. It's not even a guess. It's going to happen. You just have to plan for it and say, here's my budget for this. Here's laundry, here's food, here's gas, here's insurance, here's rent, here's cable, here's internet, here's these things. And if you put that in an itemized list and say, this is what I'm going to spend, and I have this much leeway, and this little bit here, it's really important that you plan for that. Savings should be a part of your bills. If you're paying Chase, if you're paying Spectrum, Charter, Internet, whatever, if you're paying rent, if you're paying gas, if you're paying insurance, a savings account should be a chunk of that says, I'm going to pay this savings like a bill. And that savings is there to cover your ass if something happens that you don't plan for. Flat tire, car accident, water heater breaks. Everything from I need new shoes to, oh my God, I need to pay the deductible for my homeowner's insurance because it's $700 to pay for this deductible and a tree fell in my house, and I gotta have this money so that my shit isn't getting completely ruined with this big hole in my house until I can get contractors over to fix it. You gotta plan. You gotta save that. A budget has gotten me out of more problems than I could ever even begin to imagine on how that works. You have to be able to say, I'm covered, my oh shit fund is there, and you cannot blow through your savings every time you get paid. You cannot live check to check. The goal is to not live check to check. The goal is to live minimum. I have at least 6 months of my whole budget in my savings at any time. So if I lost my job, if something catastrophically bad happened to me, illness, injury, sickness, I can get by on my savings. It's vital. You have to do that. And you have to start doing that from pretty much the age of 18, 16. The sooner you do it, the better you're giving yourself that cushion. And that's what that is. It's a big cushion. An airbag. People pay a lot of money for insurance, for health insurance, in case you get sick. People pay a lot of money for car insurance, in case you get in an accident. People pay for life insurance, in case you die. Well, savings is your in case something happens, and nobody makes you do that. And that's what you should do the minute you have an income. Any income at all. Take a quarter of it, stick it in the bank, do not touch it. Leave it there. It's that's my backup fund. Best advice I ever got, and I'm a dumbass for not taking advantage of that until I was in my 40s. So if you have the income, if you can do that, take a quarter of what you earn, put it in the bank, leave it there. Another thing you can do to help your kids is when they're young, when they're born, open up a savings account in their name. Every birthday, every holiday, every bar mitzvah, every special occasion, every Christmas, every whatever, just throw $20 in that savings account. And then when they turn 18, they'll have $4,000 or $5,000, maybe 10, depending on how much you put in there, just to say, hey, here, this is your way to get on your own. Like all that money I could have spent on presents for you for every Christmas for toys that you got sick of after 2 weeks. There you go. They'll very much appreciate it when they're 18. And if you start planning for the future, budgeting, those little pieces get bigger and bigger. You're planning for something in the future. So I think that's not a bad thing.